unrelenting darkness, the night of 1,000,000,000 years. There was no earth, or water, or horizon, only sky, and stars glowing all around, not twinkling, rising, or setting. No warmth, only silence, deep space. If a visitor were to randomly materialize somewhere in the cosmos, they would almost certainly end up in the dark, frozen, airless void between the stars and enjoy a quick, painful death. Once in a trillion tries, one might land somewhere more interesting, like a star's thermonuclear core. The universe is, by and large, a most unpleasant place to pop into. Nearly 1 billion years had passed since the probe was alive, fulfilling the mission to explore planets of its home solar system. Back then, its instruments had collected immense volumes of data, dutifully beamed across hundreds of millions of miles of interplanetary space to teams of scientists. Electricity from a nuclear fuel cell continued to power the craft long after it had sailed beyond the planets, and 5 decades later enabled the probe's sensors to detect its entry into interstellar space. For generations prior to and following the probe's launch, astronomers had listened to the cosmos using powerful radio telescopes, hoping to hear a faint signal, any indication of intelligent life elsewhere in the galaxy. Their efforts had always proved fruitless. The only alien signal they'd ever received from outside the solar system was from a source of their own making, the probe. It weakened with increasing distance and time until one day, extinction. Was the universe teeming with life, as some scientists had enthused? Certainly there was an abundance of planetary systems, and a fraction of those systems harbored worlds which could nurture and sustain life. But did they? The proponents of a living cosmos were zealous, yet completely unable to validate their claims. Where was the evidence? Did it exist as yet undiscovered? Or was the galaxy essentially sterile? Perhaps extraterrestrial beings were a figment of science fiction. There were no Klingons, Romulans, or little green men. No fleets of starships, a dearth of interstellar jump gates and Death Stars. The mission's original purpose had been to visit the solar system's 2 largest planets, slingshotting from one to the other. A clever orbital dynamicist then discovered, by great good fortune, that three planets beyond the big 2 could be flown past if the probe's path was carefully chosen. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Over 500 years would elapse until the next fortuitous alignment. Instrument failures, electronic faults, and no shortage of other gremlins plagued the flybys, yet scientists and engineers had always managed to work around the potential disasters and achieve remarkable results. Now those heroic and resourceful minds had been dead for millions of generations. What had become of their descendants? had they eventually struggled from the cradle of their home planet to colonize other worlds? In the thousands of millennia since the probe's launch, what had happened to the species that created it? The makers knew their machine would drift like a dust mote between the stars, unseen and unheard, the tiniest speck of flotsam, without a final destination. And yet they installed a small anodized plaque on the spacecraft's exterior, depicting its creators, where they lived, and the peacefulness of their intentions. A message in a galactic bottle, unlikely to wash up on an alien shore. The vacuum of space is an exceptionally empty place. Yet even the blackest of space between the stars isn't completely black. When one looks beyond the stellar neighborhood towards the outer limits of the cosmos, a background haze of distant galaxies glows dimly. We look back in time to the primordial origins of the universe and see the phosphorescence of eternity.